Gang, I'm excited for today. Brian Shaden of Hatch Realty in Fergus Falls is joining us in studio for the first time. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great.
Dude, you're new to the Hatch Realty family. How did all this come to be?
Well, I was looking for a vibrant, dynamic realtor organization such as yours, and I found you when we went through the process, and that has stepped up my game.
Well, I will take vibrant, and I don't think you said handsome, but you probably meant to say super handsome mascot of the
Missed
company.
my script.
Brian, tell the listening audience about you. I want to learn a lot about Fergus Falls today and what's happening in that market, but I want to learn about you first. So give us a rundown. Where are you from? What have you done? How'd you end up here?
Well, I'm a ex-Air Force brat out of Grand Forks.
Okay.
And then I grew up in Fergus Falls. Lived in the Minneapolis area for about 30 years doing the corporate world. And then I got out. I wanted to help people with everything I've learned. So then I've been in real estate for about 10 years.
What was it like in the corporate world? Because some folks have always lived that world. I've never lived in the corporate world. So it's a totally different walk of life that you've had.
It's very different than being your own boss, working for others and driving the process. You don't get to do a lot of what you like to do. Yeah. You got to do what you have to do.
True story. And now you're in Fergus Falls. You relocated back to Fergus Falls. Was it 10 years ago? Was it that? Or it was more recent than that, yeah?
Oh, about 8 to 9 years ago.
Okay. And why real estate? What was the call to that?
I've done a lot of working with customers and businesses around the world for years, 30 plus years in the corporate world.
Yep.
And I just liked it when I helped people accomplish their goals. And I found going into real estate was a way to help more people on a personal level.
Yeah. Well, let's be very honest, and you can be as candid and frank as you want to be. Why'd you end up at Hatch Realty? Because you were doing it on your own. You were finding your way through, but you sought us out, right? How did this come to be?
Well, when you're doing it on your own, you have to do everything. And you can only leverage yourself so much. And so when I looked at Hatch and the teams and the processes that are there, frees me up to do the stuff I like to do. And the stuff that I don't necessarily like to do, you got great teams to do that.
Yeah. You know, it's fascinating to me how many realtors jump in and they choose the independent agent model. As an example, in the Fargo-Moorhead area, about 1,000 realtors, give or take. I'd say there's 125, maybe 150 that choose to be on a team, and the rest choose to be independent. Oddly enough, is that most of the work is done by really powerful independent agents and then teams. That's where most of the transactions happen. And it blows me away, Brian, that some folks will choose to do all the jobs. You had identified that there's some areas of things that you really like to do and some areas in which you're happy to hand off. What is it that you're great at, Brian?
I'm great at helping people understand what they need to accomplish to reach their goal.
Okay.
And then managing through all the issues and problems and pitfalls that they may not see. And then helping them achieve that vision.
Yeah.
Very visionary. So I like to get people to see what they can have.
I love it. And so real estate obviously is a nice fit for that. Fergus Falls is known by a lot of Fargo people as the halfway point to Alexandria.
Yep.
And it's a place where a lot of times people will know right off the interstate. Like, I know those 3 gas stations and those 2 fast food restaurants. Fergus Falls is a lot more than that. So what would you tell an outsider about Fergus Falls? How would you identify the community?
Fergus Falls is kind of the gateway to the lakes area in the Ottertail County area. It's the main city in Ottertail County besides Perham. So it's a very older community, but with a young group. If you look at the demographics, there's kind of 2 hills. There's a younger group, and there's the baby boomers who are getting, and then the older baby boomers that are getting that period. There's a gap in between there. So there's new people moving into Fergus Falls. It's kind of getting revitalized.
Okay. Brian Shaden from Fergus Falls, Hatch Realty's newest representative, joining us in studio. And we're talking about the Fergus Falls market. You said it's the gateway to the lakes. Is Fergus Falls a lake community? Is it known for Detroit Lakes is a lake city, right? Or town, probably town. Is Fergus Falls a lake town, a lake city, or is it a gateway to?
It's a gateway to. Fergus Falls isn't on any major recreational lakes. It has small lakes all through the town, but nothing that's recreational.
Okay.
But it's very close to your big lakes, your Otter Tails, your Battle Lakes, your Clitheroe, and that. So it's where you can go get what you need and get back to your cabin to enjoy your recreation.
I got you. So that's the place that people will run to the grocery store and they'll make a swing through town so that they can fill up with gas and eat at the local eatery, the local cafe, and then they'll make their way back to their lake.
Yep, we always kind of see it at the hardware stores, your Fleet Farm and your Home Depot. Weekends there are crazy. Mm-hmm. The locals don't go shop at Fleet Farm and Home Depot on the weekends because it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I totally get that. We just bought a lake place on Tamarack. So we are right off of 34 and we love being there. And there is just a different energy in the lakes area. And Fergus Falls, I think, has some of that energy as well. And that is small town, quaint, and yet has industry and things that are bigger. What are some of the industries in Fergus Falls, Brian?
We have Shoremaster, which is one of the largest dock manufacturers in the area. Mm-hmm. We got Vector Windows, who does new windows. We have Inova, which is a large welding company. So we have a lot of manufacturing. We have Excel Plastics that does a lot of displays. So there's a lot of manufacturing is probably your biggest industry in Fergus Falls.
Okay, so there's some blue collar workers as well as some other ecosystems that are being supported by that.
Correct.
Okay. Brian, here's what's happening in the Fargo market. And folks who listen regularly, you've heard me talk about it, but it is bonkers right now. There are less listings out there and they're literally flying off the shelves, seeing multiple offers on a lot of these places. It's a market like I've never seen in my 15 plus years as a realtor. How would you describe the market in Fergus Falls?
Fergus Falls, I'm sure your listeners have seen the drought maps that they've been putting out on the media right now. Mm-hmm. If you were to look at Fergus Falls in the market right now, we'd have to put out a red flag warning.
Really?
It is so dry. We have 1/3 more sales with 1/3 less new listings. Yeah. Our inventory right now in months of supply compared to last year is about 1/5 of what the normal inventory is.
Oh my.
In that sweet spot, 100 to 200K, homes are coming off the market in less than a week with multiple offers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And typically a 10% or higher premium.
Okay. Yeah. These are wild times.
They're crazy.
These are absolutely wild times, and yet it's opportunistic, I think, for folks who are jumping into it to play the strategy game. Because right now, not anybody, that's probably a gross generalization, but like it's easy to sell your house, but it takes some massive skill to maximize the value and to get top dollar. And to actually buy a house is going to take incredible navigation by the realtor and those buyers. And it looks like you're poisoning yourself to do that.
Correct. If you don't have a realtor who understands how to really get you the advantage in that multiple offer market, you're going to be at the bottom of the list every time you put in an offer.
Mm-hmm. These are wild times. Brian, we are proud to have you in our ecosystem at Hatch Realty and to have you represent the Fergus Falls area. Let's talk about the spread and then we'll wrap here. How far out are you going in any direction?
Anywhere in any Otter Tail County.
Okay.
So it's a good 20-mile plus radius out of Fergus Falls.
I love it. Brian Chaden, excuse me. It's TJ. It's so complicated and it's Chaden, like a ch, yeah? Ch. Yeah, we got it. Okay, Brian Chaden of Hatch Realty. Gang, go learn about Brian over at hatchrealty.com. If you're in the Otter Tail County area, we have the representative for you, and he's fantastic. In the meantime, we're going to go to break. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.